Throughout time, there have been mysteries mankind cannot explain. But advances in technology have led to new theories, and the search is underway for evidence that may unlock the most baffling questions of our time. On Mystery Quest. The night sky is calm and clear. Across miles of desert, nothing moves, except one car with two men on a mission.
I can prove it. I know the place.
One, a physicist, is promising something shocking is about to appear.
It'll show up just over that ridge.
Then, right on cue, an object appears from nowhere.
Oh my God, what is that?
The bizarre craft disappears, and a secret is revealed.
I told you, we're not alone.
Questions about the existence of alien life have persisted for decades. Even more speculation surrounds the U.S. government and what it really knows. But amid the theories, there is one certainty. A belief that the public isn't being told everything.
The conspiracy theories surrounding Area 51 are numerous. People use this as a blank slate on which to draw their darkest fears.
While records are by no means complete, there have been thousands of reported UFO and alien encounters. From a mysterious crash in 1897, 6 years before the Wright brothers' first flight, to the Battle of Los Angeles in 1942, when UFO reports triggered massive anti-aircraft fire over the city. And the most famous UFO crash in U.S. history, Roswell, New Mexico.
If I was in charge of the military and the government, I would do exactly what potentially has been done, and that's keep it a secret.
For decades, there has been one location believed to be the epicenter of this government cover-up, Area 51. The military base is located in the midst of the Nevada desert, 85 miles north of Las Vegas. The name refers to a grid number found on an old map of the much larger site called the Nevada Test and Training Range. Built in 1955, reports of strange and unusual activity emerged almost immediately. Yet there is no official documentation the location even exists.
Up until recently, it's been denied that it even existed, even though people knew about it. So that, to me, that's a mystery.
Over the years, a portrait has emerged of this mysterious place. Many believe its primary purpose is a testing ground for the government's clandestine spy plane program.
Today, Area 51 is very active. They've built new runways, new hangars. I mean, there's some 24 hangars there, so that's evidence that there's a lot of programs going on.
Area 51 was created as a testing base for secret aircraft and secret weapon systems. That's all we know for sure, and that's all that the solid evidence is telling us.
But others believe these secret weapon systems are simply a smokescreen to cover the real story. In 1989, details began to emerge of a program that went far beyond spy planes.
There's a huge underground base out there, and that's where they work with the aliens. As hard as it is to believe, it's true. I mean, there are aliens all over the place.
If you and I walked in on everything that was being done, I'm sure we would be flabbergasted. We probably could not conceive all the different types of testing, or even try to comprehend some of the technology.
Now, Mystery Quest is mounting an investigation to try to find evidence of any government cover-up. The expedition team will look for physical evidence of UFOs in the desert surrounding Area 51. To do this, they'll search the sites of reported crashes.
Pete, I think we found something here. You may want to come take a look at this.
The science team will test recovered metal fragments and determine if they are from Earth or another world.
What do we got?
Mystery Quest will also talk to a former U.S. Air Force pilot who says the government is actively seeking to cover up knowledge of alien encounters.
It's registered top secret. You can't tell your wife, you can't tell your commander, you can't tell anybody in the squadron.
The team will also position cameras around the perimeter of the base and look for any anomalies that may appear in the desert sky, and use a powerful telephoto lens to glimpse further into Area 51 than ever before.
Right, here it is.
And our investigator will examine a new location to determine if the government has moved its alien operations. Area 51 operated in secret for decades.
A lot of people think that there's UFO activity at Area 51, with good reason. I mean, because of such a secretive nature, and the cat was let out of the bag by Bob Lazar.
In 1989, physicist Bob Lazar claimed the government was testing alien spacecraft at Area 51.
Bob comes by the house at night, and we're sitting over there. He says, I saw a disc today. And I said, theirs or ours? And he said, theirs.
John Lear, a retired airline pilot, is a close friend of Bob Lazar. Lear says Lazar told him he worked at Area 51, analyzing the propulsion systems of alien spacecraft. These spaceships could travel millions of miles an hour using a strange atomic substance called Element 115, a material which allows the craft to move through space by bending and drawing it around the ship.
Space is a fabric. We think of it as a nothing, as just something cold, and only containing one hydrogen atom per square meter, but it's actually a fabric. You can actually pull it. So you can go, if you could go 1,000,000 miles every 12 milliseconds, you can figure out that's pretty darn fast.
To prove his claims, in March of 1989, Bob Lazar led John Lear to a location outside the base. Then he told him exactly where and when he'd see an alien spacecraft for himself.
It was descending. It had come up and everybody says, there it is, there it is. But I could see the yellow and the goldish. It was radiating and it was descending. And I could see it getting close to the mountain. It was a classic saucer shape. If you put one plate on top of the other, that would be a flying saucer. That was what I saw. A secret test site. And just a few minutes ago, we saw one of the government extraterrestrial UFOs fly over there. We all watched it for about 7 or 8 minutes.
Lear was stunned by what he saw and is convinced to this day it was not of this world.
It was exactly the day, exactly the night, exactly the time that it came up. So he had to have worked there. He had to have, you know, been involved in the program to get information like that.
The expedition team is near Area 51 in an attempt to determine if what Lear and Lazar saw was real. Peter Merlin is an aerospace historian and expert on the U.S. government's experimental aircraft programs. Mark Easter is the International Public Relations Director of MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. MUFON is the world's largest civilian UFO research organization. Their first task is to set up camera traps that will continuously scan the skies for 48 hours, looking for any signs of activity.
We're on the Highway 375. We're headed towards Groom Lake Road, which is here, and we're going to get up on this side, up in the desert, and put the surveillance cameras up in this area here. There's less chance of somebody, happening across it, even for 48 hours, and see what happens.
Mystery Quest has obtained 3 specialized cameras to digitally record the skies above Area 51 for 48 hours. The cameras are weatherproof, designed for areas where light levels change drastically. Infrared technology will allow them to capture images during the night. But penetrating a possible government cover-up is no small task. And almost immediately, the team's investigation meets resistance.
Does it look like he might come this way, or is he going to stay put?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Mystery Quest has traveled to the Nevada desert, hoping to unlock any cover-up about what our government really knows about alien life and UFOs. UFO sightings have been reported around the world for centuries. There may be evidence that ancient cultures were visited by aliens. In Peru, giant figures of animals visible only from the air are etched into a high desert plateau spanning more than 50 miles. They are called the Nazca Lines, after the people who made them 3,000 years ago. Some believe they were ancient alien runways.
The Nazca Lines are aerial guidelines to find a path to the Nazca Plain. These markings, which range from hundreds to several thousand feet long, show direction and regions where they could land and conduct specific operations.
The period after World War II seems to have ushered in a new wave of UFO sightings. The most famous alien incident in history occurred in 1947 in Roswell, New Mexico. Reports emerged that the military had recovered a crashed flying disc from a ranch near Roswell, and suspicions of an intricate cover-up have been rumored for decades.
Parts were recovered, bodies were recovered, so the word went out before the military-industrial complex could get its hands on it and choke it.
It is now known that governments around the world have also been keeping meticulous files on UFOs for decades. The United States has yet to fully release its files. But in 2008, the British government opened its files to the public. The reports were astounding. Thousands of unexplained UFO sightings. One of the most incredible incidents happened to an American Air Force pilot, Milton Torres. In 1957, Torres was stationed at a Royal Air Force base in Leeds, England. Only in the past year has he been authorized to recount what really happened to him.
They scrambled me. It was the most incredible thing. This would be a hot fire mission.
This meant he had orders to shoot down whatever was up there.
And I would be cleared to fire, and I would select 24 rockets.
Torres climbed to 30,000 feet. The clouds were thick, slightly obscuring his view. But the image on his radar screen was clear. The UFO was less than a mile away. It registered as the size of a football field. Yet it was zigzagging through the sky at an incredible speed.
I saw it going up at about Mach 10, 10,000 miles an hour. We didn't have the SR-71, we didn't have the F-22, we didn't have anything that could go anywhere near that speed.
Then, suddenly, the radar image disappeared almost as quickly as it had appeared. But Torres would quickly learn. The government didn't want him talking.
The next day, the spook came from the embassy in London. So the man said, now you can't tell your wife, you can't tell your commander, you can't tell anybody in the squadron, including your wingman. It was registered top secret. If you say that anything to anybody, we'll take you off flying status. Well, I worked hard to become a fighter pilot. I wasn't about to lose that, so I better shut my mouth.
Some argue that what Milton Torres observed was only a radar anomaly. But more than 50 years later, the career pilot is convinced about what he saw.
Anybody who tell me some bull story, and the Air Force with the weather balloon crap, weather balloons don't go Mach 1. This thing was going all kinds of speeds. So whatever it was not made of this earth.
Speculation about an ongoing alien cover-up has raged for decades. Rumors are fueled by a government that won't officially admit the existence of Area 51. What is known is that Area 51 was originally constructed in 1955 as an aircraft testing site. Today, satellite images confirm what appears to be a military facility. 24 buildings along with a 5,000-foot runway. Even the airspace around Area 51 is restricted.
Even aerial surveillance is effectively impossible. Planes aren't allowed to fly over. There are reports that astronauts have gotten into trouble for accidentally managing to turn cameras down onto that area.
And people living in the small town of Rachel, Nevada, just outside the base, have long reported strange happenings. A local inn owner believes she actually saw something extraterrestrial.
It was between 8:30 and 9:30 at night. The beam of light came through the back door, and it shot about 6 feet into the room. It illuminated the entire door jamb. In Area 51, do I know what's going on for sure? No. Do I believe there's all kinds of testing going on, not just aircraft? Yes.
Next step, Groom Lake Road.
After setting the camera traps, the expedition team approaches the perimeter of Area 51 in an attempt to survey the base. There is no official main gate that leads into Area 51, but any approach makes it clear that you are not wanted.
Yeah. What's that?
Signs warn against trespassers, while orange posts mark a nearly invisible boundary. And the team is already under observation.
They've even got remote cameras up there, so that guy doesn't even really need to be there watching us. He's just there in case we cross the border. I don't know what sort of telephoto they've got. They can probably read our license plate from there.
The guards are part of a private security force that monitors the perimeter of Area 51. They're authorized to arrest anyone who crosses. The investigators decide to test Area 51 security at another gate.
Does he look like he might come this way, or is he going to stay put?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. He's just standing there looking at me right now, or looking at us.
Merlin and Easter realize their investigation into Area 51 is going to require a new strategy. The next attempt could lead to a new discovery or their arrest.
I honestly don't have a good feeling about this.
Mystery Quest is searching for clues into the truth behind the U.S. military's most secretive base. Many believe the government is involved in a cover-up of recovered alien technology and life forms. But what has been confirmed is that strange things happen near this desert testing grounds. Without warning and without explanation. A young family sits down together for dinner. Suddenly, the walls begin to shake.
Mommy! Oh my God! I think it's an earthquake!
But geologists confirm it's not an earthquake, and weather services report no unusual activity. This mysterious wave is called a skyquake, but its origins are completely unknown. One theory is that these quakes are caused by a plane developed at Area 51 that flies so fast it is not called supersonic, but rather hypersonic. The government has never admitted it exists, but its code name is reported to be Aurora.
The Aurora is one of the airplanes that has probably brought more people to study Area 51 than anything else. It was rumored to be something that could fly faster than Mach 5.
Mach 5 is almost 4,000 miles per hour, twice as fast as any known airplane ever built. The rumors about Aurora were fueled by mysterious condensation trails that appear to be unlike any ever seen. Photographs show bizarre contrails, which consist of circular shapes evenly scattered throughout a line.
People who believe in the Aurora project point to these sightings of these kind of mysterious contrails in the sky. They're sometimes described as being like donuts on a rope or pearls on a string. The idea is that the highly innovative propulsion system of the Aurora aircraft would produce this kind of characteristic contrail.
The incredible abilities of the Aurora have led to speculation that alien technology must be behind such a powerful airplane. But conclusive proof of the program has yet to publicly surface.
So far, in all the years since there were rumors about Aurora, there has never been any hard evidence such a plane actually exists.
Area 51 may not be the only secretive government test facility with an extraterrestrial connection. Many believe there could be an alien research network of locations around the U.S. and the world.
This thing has grown worldwide, and you have to have support, logistics, and landing sites for craft. Any place where the space shuttle can land in an emergency, you can bet that that's part of the Area 51 system.
There are reports this network includes the Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Center, or AUTEC, the Navy's ground zero for evaluating advanced technology. The base is located off the Florida Peninsula on Andros Island in the Bahamas.
They have a natural laboratory for the testing of submarine technology. And if you think of a submarine, you really will get a good idea of what a UFO is. Because a UFO is basically a submarine that can come out of the ocean, go into the air, and go into space.
One location rumored to be in this network of new secret bases is 800 miles away from Area 51 in Green River, Utah. In the late 1990s, there were claims Area 51 had become threatened by scores of tourists and alien seekers, and the government responded by moving their operations. Glenn Campbell has been investigating the military bases of the Nevada desert for 15 years. He is examining the rumors that may link the Utah facility to the UFO Research Network.
This looks like it. We're coming up on what looks like a gate. This is the main launch complex. This is the heart of this supposedly secret facility. I'm going to get out and check it out.
The facility was once part of a huge missile test range called White Sands.
Man, we got here just as a monster storm is blowing in from the west. This is what I think is the central launch complex. It seems to be in the center of the pads. I don't know what's in here exactly. They got this big old steel door.
Glenn's search reveals what appears to be an abandoned military facility. Debris and wires cover the ground. More importantly, there is no evidence of alien or any other research activity.
Now, there can always be one of those buildings where there's something secret, but the point is there's no infrastructure, there's no activity, there's no trucks coming and going, there's no people. This is a dead facility. This is not the new Area 51.
There is a belief that physical evidence may be lying in the desert. Now, the expedition team is on the hunt for that evidence. Peter Merlin became aware of a location outside Area 51 where a crash once occurred.
Now, how did you find out about this location here?
I heard about it from some ranchers who lived out there back in 1967. Something came streaking out of the sky, slammed into the desert and exploded. Pretty soon, Air Force guys showed up in helicopters and trucks and kicked them off the land, told them to forget what they'd seen, and then they cleaned up whatever was left.
There was one piece they didn't find.
Check this out. You ever seen metal folded like that before?
I have not.
I mean, that's incredible. The force, it must have been planted in the ground at extreme speed. I'm not sure what kind of alloy that is. It's like stomping on a beer can. It's almost like it went straight in. But there's no impact crater here. I don't think it hit right here. I think it hit somewhere else and parts went all over.
The piece is too large to move for testing. The team decides to split up and scour the desert for smaller debris.
What we're out here looking for, it's not just what might be aircraft parts. You can't assume what you're looking for is man-made. You have to be open to whatever the case may be. Now, if it's a piece of something that I'm concerned about, I won't touch it unless we get a Geiger counter on it.
The Nevada desert was the site of many atomic tests. Caution is paramount.
Pete, I think we found something here. You may want to come take a look at this.
I guess you bring that Geiger counter with you.
Will do.
The twisted piece of metal is about 6 inches long, and small circles appear to be bolt or rivet holes.
I think we're okay. Looks pretty clean.
What do you think?
It's very distorted. Looks like it's been subjected to a lot of force. It's clean.
Well, this is definitely downwind from that piece that you found.
It is. It's right along the flight trajectory.
Now you can see it's got some form to this side right here, but jagged on this side. This definitely tore off of something obviously larger. I'm wondering about these holes, if this was from heat, or this is more of an exact hole. These are probably bolt holes, I would imagine.
They will send the specimen they've gathered to the science team to try to determine its origins.
Well, this is an excellent find right here.
Mystery Quest is investigating whether the U.S. government is hiding a UFO research program at Area 51 and other locations. There is only one place to get a clear view of Area 51. It is called Tikaboo Peak, an 8,000-foot summit 26 miles from the base. The team will be led by Glenn Campbell, who has led many excursions and is familiar with the hidden trail that leads to the peak. But this trek is different.
Oh my God,
Now
wow.
that's a big lens.
This is the largest telephoto lens ever brought to Tikaboo Peak. It can zoom 66 times further than a standard lens. The team makes steady progress as Campbell leads the group to the summit.
That view.
Suddenly, a fighter jet appears.
this guy has circled this peak 3 times, and I kind of ask myself, does he know we're here? Is he looking at us?
The jet makes repeated passes.
Man, he's coming down really low, right through the valley there. Wow.
Then it becomes clear the government is scrutinizing the team's progress.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Coming! Coming!
A military helicopter suddenly swoops in for a closer look.
Man, they have to be here for us. Is he circling this peak?
He's circling the peak.
He has to be here for us.
Well, there's no question. He's here for us.
The helicopter is an unmarked Black Hawk-type chopper, often used by special forces.
They have never bothered with us here before. My concern is we're not going to be no one's going to interfere with us up there on the peak. We get down below, we may find the sheriff waiting for us, the local law enforcement. There's the helicopter again. And he's directly over Peekaboo Peak. And he's here to watch us. There's no other reason for him to be here.
The helicopter circles for 20 minutes, then disappears as suddenly as it arrived.
I honestly don't have a good feeling about this.
The science team has received the wreckage from the desert. Dr. Jerry Delaney at Rutgers University Lab will oversee the testing using an electron microprobe, a device that can determine almost 100% of the elements that make up any object. Dr. Delaney will test for anything extraterrestrial.
There are very distinctive features that are the signature of the trip through the Earth's atmosphere. Anything that comes through the atmosphere, whether it's a stone the size of my thumb or a spaceship, is going to heat up, and it can form a crust in some circumstances.
The microprobe generates an electron beam.
And that, in turn, generates X-rays. They will tell me what the composition of the sample is.
The information is sent to a computer, which identifies the chemical makeup of the sample.
What do we got? Ooh, oh my goodness. Well, it isn't what I thought it was going to be. Having said that, it is a very typical terrestrial alloy. It's brass. This object looks as if it was something that was man-made, maybe a vehicle, maybe a farm equipment, maybe something military, I don't know. But everything about it says man-made, terrestrial.
The expedition team continues to investigate. Camera surveillance could provide proof of the conspiracy, as new evidence is discovered at the top of Peekaboo Peak.
This looks like new construction. I mean, other times I haven't seen this thing here before.
Mystery Quest is deep within the Nevada desert, trying to unlock the puzzle of extraterrestrial life at Area 51. This commercial aviator believes that the government is reverse engineering alien technology at Area 51. This Air Force pilot says he encountered an alien craft at 30,000 feet. And these researchers are trying to gain more information using an incredibly powerful high-definition lens to peer into the base. The team has climbed 8,000 feet to capture the closest images ever taken of Area 51. Surveillance helicopters and jets have buzzed the expedition and seem to confirm there is something the government does not want revealed.
All right, here it is. That's what you wanted to see. There's Area 51.
The team looks at recent satellite images, providing a bird's eye view of the base. They'll compare these images to what they see through the high-definition lens. New construction would prove that Area 51 is an expanding facility.
Well, we know what most of these hangars are for. We've determined over the years, okay, this is for the A-12. So the more we know about the base, the smaller the unknowns become.
Right.
What do you see?
The team examines the base through the powerful lens. Multiple buildings and runways are clearly visible on the monitor. But no cars or people are observed. Then, Glenn Campbell notices something.
This looks like new construction. I mean, other times I haven't seen this thing here before. Wow, what do you suppose it's for?
Well, it's big. And what do they need a hangar that big for?
Campbell spots a large hangar, which appears much smaller in the satellite photo.
And something new implies a new program of some sort, doesn't it?
While it is not confirmation that alien research is underway, the new construction is evidence that Area 51 is still operational.
Do you have any insight with your background as to what potentially the future of what they're hiding here is?
Well, on the aeronautical side of the house, I certainly expect there will be development of high-tech demonstration aircraft, new stealth technologies, and unmanned vehicles. But beyond that, who knows? Anything could be in those hangars.
The team descends to retrieve the over 48 hours of aerial surveillance taken by the desert cameras.
This is actually the turnoff here.
The footage reveals two possible sightings. In one scene, an object seems to appear, then quickly vanish in the sky above the ridgeline. In the second, a procession of lights drift near the horizon. But careful examination has revealed these anomalies are not evidence of UFOs. The first was determined to be a sudden cloud formation. In the second video, a series of lights appear on the horizon. However, after examining the evidence, the team concludes these lights are most likely headlights from passing automobiles. The expedition has uncovered some important new information. The team is determined that the U.S. military is still conducting research and testing at Area 51. They also proved that the government will go to great lengths to protect the secret research they are doing. And new evidence has been uncovered of government pressure on a U.S. Air Force pilot to lie about his UFO encounter. The truth will eventually come out, as it always does. The question is, when and how?
The UFO phenomenon, as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of people, is the largest mystery in history. People need to investigate.
Mars named for the god of war. It is the most similar planet to Earth in our entire solar system, perhaps the only other planet that could support life, human or otherwise. What can explain the inhuman discoveries made on Mars? Bizarre structures, possible alien remains, and what could be an alien figure caught on NASA cameras. Is mankind on the verge of discovering alien life on Mars? Or have we already found proof of Martian civilizations?
This almost appears to be a whole city unexplored on the surface of Mars.
Tonight, the shocking truth of a world that could hold the key to our past and our future. Join us as the incredible secrets of alien life on planet Mars are unsealed. It was the most ambitious mission of its kind in the history of space exploration. A $2.5 billion project that many hoped could answer the ancient question: is there life on Mars?
The Curiosity rover is essentially a moving laboratory, and we can collect evidence off of Mars that we've never been able to collect before.
But the Curiosity rover is only the latest explorer of a program that began in 1971. Since then, 16 probes have successfully reached Mars, some returning crucial evidence that the red planet wants or may still be able to support life. In 1975, Viking orbiters showed geological evidence of rivers, lakes, and oceans. These images painted the picture of an ancient Mars that may have once held an abundance of alien life.
When they discovered that there was at one time possibly water on the surface of Mars, that blew open the door of possibility for there being extraterrestrial life in our solar system, let alone the universe.
Could Mars in fact have been much more like Earth than we once believed? The first color photographs of the Martian surface were taken by a rover in 2004. The images revealed that the red planet was anything but.
One of the things that shocked people in 2004 when NASA and JPL released these photos was this wasn't the dead planet that we've been led to believe with a brown sky and brown dusty surface. That when you look at this bluish sky and when you look at the surface of the Martian ground, it very much resembled the surface of Earth.
Could our exploration of this alien planet uncover the ultimate extraterrestrial secret? That intelligent life once, or perhaps still, exists on Mars, and that the evidence has been right before our eyes. Unsealed case file, the skull of Mars. In 2004, NASA landed 2 rovers on the surface of Mars, Spirit and Opportunity. They were sent to explore opposite sides of the red planet. And while Opportunity sent back many interesting photos, it was Spirit which captured what some believe is our first glimpse at an alien face. In this picture, we see a shape sitting on the ground. It has familiar features: eyes, a nose, even teeth. Could this be, as some believe, a humanoid skull buried in the Martian soil?
Alien theorists believe that this could be evidence that either humans had visited Mars at some point in the past, or that some other humanoid alien race has existed there for thousands of years.
Is this object, in fact, an ancient fossil? And what could be buried alongside it? Coming up next, the search for answers could reveal not only evidence of an alien being on the surface of Mars, but an entire civilization. This is Unsealed Alien Files, exposing the biggest secret on planet Earth. Welcome back to Unsealed Alien Files. photographs of Mars reveal alien landscapes remarkably similar to Earth and unexplained images that look terrifyingly human. But the biggest question remains, is there alien life on planet Mars?
All the evidence points to the fact that Mars could have very well supported life in the past and maybe supports alien life to this very day.
July 25th, 1976. The Viking 1 orbiter photographs a Martian terrain known as Cydonia. Of the many pictures taken that day, one would be seen as a sign that we may not be alone in the universe. A human face etched into the surface of Mars.
Well, the face of Mars doesn't resemble, it looks like a human face. I mean, it's looking up at the stars, at the heavens, but it looks like a human face. No mistaking it. And this thing has two eyes, a nose, a mouth. It has something that looks like a headdress on it. And this face, by the way, is about 3 miles, top to bottom, chin to head to top of head, and about 2 miles across. So it's a very large object, it's not small.
Alien theorists propose that the face of Mars could be a monument constructed by an ancient alien race, an invitation or a warning to visitors of Mars.
Skeptics say, well, why would an alien race make something like this? Well, who knows? It could be for a number of reasons. It could be as a monument to, maybe they knew a cataclysm was coming and they wanted to leave something that would let people know that they were there, let somebody know that they were there. It could be as simple as art. I mean, why do we create art? Why do we create sculpture?
Shockingly, the most recent images of the face reveal nothing more than a mountain of sand. Was the face a mere illusion? Or could it be that the face was purposely destroyed using explosives on board the Mars Observer? A NASA statement from August 21st, 1993 reports that NASA forever lost contact with Observer over the Martian surface, followed what was believed to be a fuel rupture. The next time the face was photographed in 1996, its features had vanished. It may be mere coincidence, but some believe this is just the most recent evidence of a cover-up to protect the truth.
Alien theorists believe that this could be evidence that either humans had visited Mars at some point in the past, or that some other humanoid alien race has existed there for thousands of years.
In fact, several photos from Mars have revealed what many believe are manufactured objects and signs of a ruined civilization. One of the discoveries was an object known as the ammo box. Photographed by NASA's Spirit rover, the origins of this seemingly metallic object remain a mystery.
The ammo box seems to be made of some sort of metal, and every edge meets at a 90-degree corner. How is that possible if it's a natural formation?
This and similar evidence have led theorists to believe that Mars may have been home to an ancient alien civilization. But could the ultimate discovery be an ancient city with a connection to our home planet? Unsealed case file, the Pyramids of Mars. Of all Martian regions, none has been more rich with the possible proof of civilization than Cydonia and the Pyramids of Mars.
In the middle of this barren planet, there stand three structures that resemble almost exactly our pyramids in Egypt.
Indeed, the shape of the pyramid has been repeated on Earth throughout multiple countries for millennia. The connection between the pyramids of Earth and these so-called pyramids of Mars could be seen as evidence of an extraterrestrial connection to the human race.
If these structures on Mars were manufactured by some sort of alien beings, what could that mean for our race? It could mean that we have neighbors who obviously thousands of years ago came here to visit us and left influences on our people and our cultures.
The largest of the Martian monuments is known as the D&M Pyramid. It spans almost 2 miles and stands half a mile tall. Shockingly, the axis of the pyramid is nearly in alignment with the north-south axis of Mars, just as the Great Pyramid of Giza is aligned with the north-south axis of the Earth. And yet, even if the pyramids of Mars could be explained as natural, it would be difficult to explain why, sitting near the base of the southernmost pyramid, is a Sphinx. Coming up next, an intergalactic war and possible images of an alien being lead to the ultimate question: is a Martian invasion in our future? Find out when we return. This is Unsealed Alien Files, exposing the biggest secret on planet Earth. Welcome back to Unsealed Alien Files. Humanoid faces seen in the Martian terrain, images of possible alien life, objects that seem to defy natural explanation. The evidence of alien life on Mars raises questions about an advanced civilization and their mysterious disappearance. Can the answer be found within pyramids eerily similar to ancient Egypt, right down to the presence of a Sphinx?
The Sphinx on Mars is a monolith that was discovered in 1997 by the Pathfinder mission. If you examine this photograph, even for just a minute, it's very clear that you can see a defined head, body, and even arms.
It is a form remarkably like that of the Great Sphinx of Giza, with a head that appears to be decorated in an Egyptian headdress. And all of this within miles of the so-called face of Mars.
When you think about an alien race building a giant face on the surface of their planet, some may laugh it off. And I always say, well, why would you laugh it off? Look at civilizations here on Earth stretching back thousands of years. You've got giant structures in the middle of Egypt, one of which just happens to be a very large face on the Sphinx. You've got other structures from other cultures that are being built that you can only see from the sky. So when you look at those commonalities, you have to see maybe there's a connection between life 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago here on Earth and quite possibly a life starting on the planet of Mars.
If there truly was an ancient civilization on Mars, who knows how advanced they may have become before extinction? Could the ancient pyramids of Egypt have been constructed as a cultural link between the two societies? And if so, how did their society come to an end?
Many theorize by the scientific advances that we're making studying the Martian surface that in Mars's past, that it's been hit multiple times by asteroids. Now, when you talk about huge asteroids striking a planetary surface, the effects of that are pretty detrimental. Many believe that happened on Mars, maybe on a grander scale. Instead of 10% of the world's life or the planet's life surviving, that you had zero survivability.
Possible evidence of this catastrophic event can be found right on the surface of Mars. Concentrated on one side of the planet are over 3,000 craters, measuring 20 miles in diameter.
If an asteroid a mile across were to hit the Martian surface, it's estimated that that would have the impact and the force equivalent to a 1 million megaton nuclear weapon. That is 10 million times the force of what was released in Hiroshima.
The debris raised by such an asteroid could block out the sun, effectively killing all life on the planet. But could there be another explanation for these enormous craters? One that points to a very advanced ancient civilization on Mars, and a Martian nuclear apocalypse. Ancient Roman records point to accounts of what was referred to as fire in the sky. Both Romans and Babylonians named it for their god of war. Was Mars once home of a violent and distant battle between an alien species? And could any survivors still be alive today?
For years, we've been debating about what the Martians might look like. Science fiction gives us all kinds of different variations of what these aliens are. But in 2008, the Spirit rover gave us our first clear picture, which could show us who the Martians are.
Unsealed case file, The Creature of Mars. In 2008, the Mars Spirit rover transmitted a panorama back to Earth from the West Valley of Mars. At first look, this photograph appears to merely be a stunning view of the Martian terrain. But closer inspection exposes a chilling revelation. A humanoid figure, seeming to walk just behind a ridge. It appears to have a head, a torso, even legs, caught in mid-stride. Could this real photographic evidence be a creature captured alive on the surface of Mars? If this is truly a living creature, we could be looking at a post-apocalyptic Martian survivor, a rare example of an extraterrestrial species still hiding on an alien planet. You may think we'll never know, but if expert predictions are right, the invasion of Mars could be just around the corner. Coming up next, the event that could put you face to face with an alien race. Earth invades planet Mars. This is Unsealed Alien Files, exposing the biggest secret on planet Earth. Welcome back to Unsealed Alien Files. The time to act is now. There are 3 simple steps you can take to unseal the truth.
Follow on Twitter.
Follow the Unsealed Twitter feed to receive breaking news of the latest alien happenings as they develop.
Tell your story.
Have you seen a UFO?
Whatever we encountered affected our memory.
Upload stories and pictures to our interactive map.
Join the movement.
Get the Unsealed bracelet and the unique code hidden underneath to access exclusive content. Stop living in the dark.
It is definitely coming this way.
Get involved in the fight to unseal the truth. Now. For decades, man has feared the potential invasion of Earth by Martians. But a twist of modern science could bring humans to invade Mars. In January 2013, the Mars 1 was announced. It could be the first private spacecraft to land on the Red Planet. It is scheduled to arrive on Mars within the next 10 years. And its cargo? A volunteer group of human colonists from Earth. They will live on and develop Mars for the remainder of their lives. These brave pioneers could explore an alien world, beginning a peaceful colonization or an intergalactic war. But at last, we may answer the question, is there life on Mars? This is Unsealed Alien Files, exposing the biggest secret on planet Earth.
Do aliens walk the Earth? Did man really walk on the moon? Are top-secret high-tech weapons operating against the law and under our noses?
There's evidence that NASA may have doctored the photos.
Conspiracies have always been part of our history and our folklore. From unproven plots rooted in paranoia to the documented cases that seem too terrifying to be true.
The whole thing was a setup, a complete and utter setup.
From jet trails to Jesus to JFK, we're counting down the most infamous cover-ups and secret schemes in history as the top 10 conspiracies of all time are unsealed. What if the history you were taught in school was all a lie? Is our government controlled by a secret society? Welcome to the world of conspiracy, where cover-ups, secrets, and hidden agendas all trace back to a single source. We're about to unseal the secret files the government doesn't want you to know about. This is Unsealed Conspiracy Files. July 20th, 1969. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin accomplished the greatest feat in the history of mankind. Or do they? Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is the moon landing hoax. The year was 1974, 2 years after the final moon landing of Apollo 17. a small self-published book was released with the title, "We Never Went to the Moon, the $30 Billion Swindle." It was one of the first to publicly question NASA's official story.
There's a theory that Stanley Kubrick faked the moon landing in a studio.
According to the book, the astronauts were merely actors on sound stages, promoting an elaborate hoax so the U.S. could claim victory in the space race.
We were so engaged in the space race that any win, any victory, would have helped morale.
Their evidence the moon landing never happened? Inconsistencies in the photographs of the mission. Not enough dust in the air upon landing. Missing or incomplete records and radio transmissions.
If I worked at NASA, I would say, look at all the evidence. If you don't believe that, you're not going to believe the sun's going to rise the next day.
Despite years of point-by-point debunking and patient explanation by experts and engineers, between 10 and 25% of the population still doesn't believe the moon landings were real. An unthinkable betrayal of trust, a panicked and clumsy cover-up, a paper trail that exposed the entire shameful affair. All-time conspiracy number 9 is Project MK Ultra.
The MK Ultra program was the main research project within the Central Intelligence Agency in regards to mind control.
MK Ultra is started in 1953 by CIA Director Allen Dulles. The program allegedly includes the use of mega doses of hallucinogenic drugs, shock therapy, and other attempts at brainwashing.
Terrible things were done. Massive drugs were given to innocent people, including the staff of the people working on the project. Unsuspecting people were given LSD and other things. Some information was gained at great human cost.
The subjects of these experiments? Civilians and military alike, many of whom aren't even told of their participation. One victim is even the wife of a Canadian member of Parliament.
Nobody explained it to me. Nobody ever asked me if I was willing to do it or anything.
By the 1970s, word of the CIA's secret program begins to leak out.
The CIA tried to erase all this. They shredded most of the documents.
About 20,000 pages survived because they were mislabeled as financial information in the CIA archives. They were released in the 1970s during a congressional hearing, which is finally when all the MK Ultra information came to light.
A sordid chapter in U.S. history comes to a close in 1977. But the damage is done. Not only to the reputation of the CIA, but to the thousands of victims of MK Ultra. Long thought to be a figment of the imagination of fanatics, this top-secret airbase turned out to be all too real. And that's why it's all-time conspiracy number 8, Area 51.
Area 51 is a top-secret military installation about 90 miles northeast of Las Vegas, Nevada.
The U.S. government officially admitted to the existence of Area 51 in a 1995 document. That admission only served to inflame the conspiracy theorists.
Other than only saying that they test top-secret technology, they really will not elaborate what's going on inside that facility.
From time travel to teleportation, the alleged activities at Area 51 seem limited only by the imagination.
Since the rumors of Area 51 had started circulating, people have come out to claim that they worked inside the facility, and there's a lot of operations going on, which includes back engineering alien technology.
We're only just getting started. When we return, 2 conspiracies that may destroy the world, and another that may someday rule it. Unsealed Conspiracy Files. Welcome back to the world of conspiracy. This is Unsealed Conspiracy Files. We're counting down the top 10 conspiracies of all time. Next up is a government facility some say could destroy the world. Its full name, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. But conspiracy number 7 is better known by its nickname, HAARP.
HAARP installation is a 35-acre facility that has over 160 antenna arrays all linked up together. It has a 3.6 million watt transmitter in which it shoots ELF, or extremely low frequency waves, into our ionosphere.
According to the government, HAARP is merely a research station studying the ionosphere and its effects on radio wave transmission. But according to a patent many believe is connected to the project, that's not the whole story.
This patent has all sorts of military applications. It can be employed as an early warning device, and it says right here, it puts unprecedented amounts of power in the Earth's ionosphere.
We're talking about a weapon. So it's very interesting that all throughout this patent, it's actually spelled out in black and white the actual uses for this to be some type of weather modification.
Controlling the weather to controlling people's minds. HAARP has been blamed by its detractors for affecting the environment in both devious and detrimental ways.
With weather manipulation, you can turn a cloudy day into a sunny day, you can turn a sunny day into a rainy day, even create a tornado out in the middle of nowhere if you really wanted to.
It also says right here, you open up holes in the atmosphere. These are holes where you send solar radiation through. You literally fry your enemy.
Similar ionospheric heaters exist in Russia, Norway, and Puerto Rico, and many experts fear the worst when it comes to their potential for destruction.
There may be one day where we try and control the weather a little bit too much, and we alter Mother Nature. If that's true, and there's no way to control it, we may one day face the wrath of planet Earth.
When it comes to secret government conspiracies that affect our very atmosphere, none is more feared and talked about than all-time conspiracy number 6, chemtrails. The crisscross clouds are becoming an everyday sight in the skies across America, and some scientists are terrified of their potential to do harm.
Chemtrail, it is believed, is actually a chemical spray of some kind that the military could be putting into our atmosphere. Why? We don't really know. What? We don't know that either.
Our government claims that all they're doing is spreading metallic oxides in the atmosphere. And it's for research purposes only, and that we're not doing anything damaging. So we have two opinions here on HAARP. One is from the government. Oh, we're not doing anything wrong, pure research. And the other is conspiracy theorists saying the government is testing a weapon.
From accelerating global warming to enacting biological warfare experiments, even conspiracy theorists themselves disagree about the real story. In 2001, 4 government agencies issued a joint report denying the existence of chemtrails, which only fueled talk of a cover-up.
Well, they actually initiated a law that stated that the military could, in fact, spray these dead, quote-unquote, harmless spores into the atmosphere for testing. That's all on the books, and that's provable.
Senator Dennis Kucinich introduced legislation which included language banning chemtrails in 2001. The reference to chemtrails was deleted, and the bill never even made it to a vote.
If that doesn't smack up a conspiracy, I don't know what else does.
Since the beginning of recorded history, the powerless have questioned the motives of the powerful. Which brings us to all-time conspiracy number 5, the New World Order.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly. We have before us the opportunity to forge a new world order.
Secret societies made up of the rich and powerful from around the globe have long been accused of having a planet-wide hidden agenda to control the world. One of the most frequently mentioned groups is the Freemasons.
When the stone was laid for the Capitol building, George Washington was there and he was in full Masonic garb. So the Masonic influence was there, but how deep it went, that's a big question.
The symbols of this secret society are on our money and our monuments.
From the capstone at the Statue of Liberty to the all-seeing eye in the back of our dollar bill, these symbolic references can be found throughout our culture.
Why should people worry about a new world order, quote unquote? Well, they control the money supply, they control the military, they control the production of food, they control weather on the planet. The problem with the New World Order is who's voting for it? Who's it responsible to? And how did it come into being?
These secret societies may have different rituals and secret handshakes, but according to many, they all have the same goal: a new world order. Coming up, a conspiracy more than 2,000 years in the making, and the startling new evidence that shocked the world. Unsealed Conspiracy Files. Welcome back to the world of conspiracy. This is Unsealed Conspiracy Files. September 2012. A small piece of parchment reignites a millennia-old controversy. All-time conspiracy number 4. Was Jesus married?
If we're looking at a 4th century Coptic document, the document could very well be legitimate.
For 2 millennia, the faithful and the fearful have debated the true nature of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene.
The bigger question is, did Jesus have a wife and raise children or not? We don't know everything about Jesus. Maybe he did.
If Jesus did have a wife and children, that means his bloodline could live on today. And that's a thought that makes many Christians very uncomfortable.
Priests take a vow of celibacy in order to honor Christ. But if Christ actually had a wife, then one basic tenet of the priesthood becomes invalid.
The recently discovered papyrus has been declared a fake by the Vatican. But that's just what a conspiracy theorist would expect them to say. 1947, a sleepy southwestern town. Until one fateful night when its name becomes synonymous with conspiracy and cover-up. Coming in at number 3 is Roswell, New Mexico.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
Everybody knows about Roswell.
On July 7th, residents of the town are startled by a mysterious crash in the desert. According to reports, soldiers, firemen, and locals witness a downed alien craft and what appear to be the ship's occupants dead. Radio and newspaper reports at the time confirm the incredible events.
Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection.
In the days that follow, the military changed their account of the incident.
The first story was that the Air Force had captured a flying disc. Then they recanted the story just half a day later and came out with the fact that it was a weather balloon.
Experts still disagree over exactly what happened that night.
In our research, we've had over 600 eyewitness testimonies since then saying that this was not a weather balloon, that there were aliens that they saw.
More than 60 years later, it seems the cover-up is intact and the controversy is only growing. April 30th, 1945. As Berlin was bombed to bits above him, the most reviled dictator in all of history took his own life. At least, that's what he wants us to think. All-time conspiracy number 2, the death of Adolf Hitler. The official record says Hitler gave his wife Eva a cyanide pill and then shot himself in the head.
When Hitler fell, the Soviets finally reached the bunker where Hitler and his wife had been hiding out. They found a burned body, had been burned with gasoline.
We know that the Soviets said that Hitler's dentist confirmed that it was Hitler's body with the use of his dental records. We really don't know if Hitler truly died or not in that bunker.
Could Hitler have survived the war and lived on? Experts think it's not only possible, it's likely.
Interesting story. U-530 was a Nazi German submarine that shows up in Argentina 2 months after the end of the war with no logs.
U-530 proved that somehow they got out of Nazi Germany. They survived for 2 months at sea. Where did they go? Who did they have on board?
Did Hitler himself somehow get spirited away and end up in Buenos Aires after the war?
Recently declassified communication to FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover further inflames speculation.
After Hitler's demise, there were many reports of sightings. The FBI ended up developing an extensive file of these things. The size of the FBI file suggests that the FBI thought that Hitler might be alive.
FBI photographs from after the war depicting an aging Hitler with different facial hair lead many to believe the U.S. knew Hitler didn't die in the bunker.
The evidence was there, and it was coming in from all over the globe that Hitler was being sighted. He lived for possibly years or even decades after the fall of the Third Reich.
When we return, you've seen government cover-ups and alien spacecraft. If you think you know what number one is, think again. Unsealed Conspiracy Files. Welcome back to the world of conspiracy. This is Unsealed Conspiracy Files. The time to act is now. There are 3 simple steps you can take to unseal the truth.
Follow on Twitter.
Follow the Unsealed Twitter feed to receive breaking news of the latest conspiracies as they develop.
Tell your story.
What did you see that you shouldn't have?
The government's known about it all along. Why has nobody told us?
Upload stories and pictures to our interactive map.
Join the movement.
Get the Unsealed bracelet and the unique code hidden underneath to access exclusive content. Stop living in the dark.
It is definitely coming this way.
Get involved in the fight to unseal the truth. Now. From weather control to mind control to flat-out world domination. No conspiracy is more firmly ingrained in the American psyche than number 1 on our list. The JFK assassination.
That conspiracy will never go away until we learn the truth.
1 ex-Marine, 1 rifle, 2 nearly impossible shots. The official position of the U.S. government? Oswald acted alone.
Lee Harvey Oswald didn't have the skills to fire that rifle. The bolt action on that rifle couldn't have allowed him to get those shots off in such a quick succession.
Was there only one shooter?
There are as many theories as there are suspects.
The Cuban community, the military, the oil industry, we could go on and on.
We may never know the full truth about any of these stories. On the other hand, we might already know everything. That's what makes them the top 10 conspiracies of all time. Unsealed Conspiracy Files.